Never a dull moment. Yo, salute to everybody already here in the building, man. You guys know what time it is. I appreciate every single one of you guys. As always, wipe them feet. That means get those likes up, man. And also hit that subscribe button if you guys are not subscribed yet. Never a dull moment in Raider Nation. I was planning on taking a break today, day off, spend some time with the Suns, and boom. Once again, never a dull moment in Raider Nation. Amari Cooper decides to retire 4 days before week 1 as the team plans to travel out east to New England to face the Patriots this Sunday, man. According to Ian Rappaport, they were first on the case. Come back no more. The Raiders wide receiver Amari Cooper has informed the team that he no longer has the desire to play and intends to retire. Per the insiders, Cooper had signed at the end of camp in a hopeful reunion with the team that drafted him. Now he's headed home from Las Vegas. So for those who were tuned in last night to the AFC West show, salute to my brothers Ben and Darcy. Ben kind of put me on notice yesterday, man. I was watching a ton of the tape from headquarters and seeing Amari out there, operating with the team and so on and so forth. And he did look like he was out of shape. He was not in football shape at all. He missed this entire offseason. Last year, he spent half the season with Cleveland, half the season with Buffalo. He was a free agent all offseason and got signed abruptly, like last minute, as we got ready for New England for week 1. I just think this is a situation, you guys. What is he, 31 years old? Got out there to camp, realized his body couldn't do it anymore. I don't think this was a personal vendetta against the organization. He was at his presser saying all the right things. We were all excited. He was like, hey, I'm coming back to finish what I started, and so on and so forth. I think this is just a situation where he went out there. I see some people on Twitter and Instagram freaking out saying he's seen enough of what this offense was going to look like, and he got out of there. This is not an Antonio Brown type situation. I just think, honestly, Coop realized didn't really have much left in the tank, probably did not want to spend the next month or so getting in football shape. Probably also, seeing the signs that Dante Thornton, Jack Besh, Tucker, Jacoby, those guys are going to get the bulk of those, receptions out there in Las Vegas this year. We're going with the youth movement outside of Jacoby, who's 28. He'll be 29, I believe, this month or next month. Don't quote me on that, but I know it's coming up. He'll be 29 soon. We're going with the youth movement, at the receiver position and the tight end position. Brock, Mayer, Besh, Thornton, Tucker, so on and so forth. So, with him retiring, you guys, we do have Justin Shorter on the practice squad. We still have Alex Bachman, who I believe they will elevate here soon, a guy that could play in the slot. They'll throw him on the boundary here and there as well. And then Shedrick Jackson as well, Bo's nephew, who looked really good in preseason as well. So maybe they elevate one of those guys and get them prepared for week 1 this Sunday. I'm expecting Alex Bachman to be the guy to be called up. And once again, he had some real big splash plays at training camp and looked really good once again in preseason. I see a bunch of people mentioning Gabe Davis. He is on the practice squad, I believe, with the Buffalo Bills. So he went back to his initial team. They brought him in, they drafted him, and that's where he was the most productive out there with Josh Allen in Buffalo. So there's not a ton of names out there that are free agents right now. Odell Beckham Jr. is available. I believe Robert Woods was just let go, I believe, from Pittsburgh. So I think he's available. There's not a lot of attractive options out there in free agency, you guys. Nelson Aguilar, I believe he's still a free agent. Tyler Boyd would be an interesting name. He's only 30 years old. At one point, he was like that third option in Cincinnati. Maybe you look at Tyler Boyd. Allen Robinson's out there. He's 32 years old. And honestly, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. He's had some issues as well. There's not a ton of names out there. Another name to keep an eye on, and I know some of you guys are probably going to disagree with me, bring DJ Turner back home. DJ Turner, once again, played, I think, the majority of his career, right? I think he played his entire career with the Raiders, former Pitt product. I would maybe potentially bring Turner back in, add him to the practice squad, elevate Alex Bachman. But yeah, man. And OBJ did not retire, you guys. He put that out there on Twitter himself. He's actually looking for a team to stick on with this season. So I know he had a down year last year, really terrible with Miami. Played in 9 games. Only had 9 receptions for 55 yards, no touchdowns. He hasn't had, a really productive year, honestly, since 2019 in Cleveland. I mean, since then, 300, 500, 200, 300. In 2023, he did okay. He had 3 touchdowns out there in Baltimore, 565 yards receiving on 64 targets, 35 catches. But, there's not a ton of options out there available for us right now. So I would expect Bachman to be elevated here soon. Maybe they surprise us, and maybe it's Shedrick Jackson. Maybe it is shorter. But there are a few other options out there available in free agency. But the cupboards are bare right now in free agency. So once again, for those who are just joining, breaking news, Amari Cooper decides to retire 4 days before week 1, as the Raiders are planning to head out to New England, Far East, week 1 to face the Patriots. It's kind of crazy, man. And look, I know a lot of people, oh my God, Cooper's a quitter and blah, blah, blah. Look, man, once again, I think he got out there and realized, oh, I don't have anything left to give this sport. I don't think it has anything to do with the Raiders. I don't think it has anything to do with the system. I don't think really, honestly, it has anything to do with the youth movement on full display in Vegas. I just think that he was just like, wow, I don't have it in me anymore. Once your body gives up, it's a wrap. So salute to Amari Cooper on his retirement. I'm not going to take this personal. Once a Raider, always a Raider. We did draft him years ago in the first round. And, I loved, the potential of him coming out there this year and adding that veteran presence and being someone that can stick out there as that veteran guy that could potentially give you 600 or 700 yards in the receiving game. But he suddenly retires before week 1. But guess what? That gives us a few days to pivot and figure out what we're going to do here. And once again, you guys, Coop was going to be potentially the 4th or 5th option at best on this offense anyways, because once again, they have a lot of hopes for Dante in year 1, Trey Tucker in year 3, Mayer in year 3, Brock in year 2, and then, Jack Besh as well in year 1. So, this is kind of crazy that it's coming on, this is coming out after Jacoby during his presser yesterday, said that he asked for a trade. The Raiders said no, and that he's still going to show up for his teammates regardless. So I'm wondering if maybe Jacoby can use this, as a tool to say, hey, if you don't want to pay me, I won't show up, and you guys will be really, really thin at the wide receiver position going into New England come week 1. So we'll see. Something to monitor with Jacoby Myers, a guy that wants a new deal. But once again, he said everything right in that presser, right, you guys? He said he's going to show up for his teammates, that it's a job and that he needs to make sure he takes care of his family. So something to keep an eye on with Coop abruptly retiring. Jacoby could definitely use this as a tool to maybe put a little extra pressure on the Raiders brass, Spytech and company to say, hey, get a deal done or I'm not showing up. We'll see. But until then, I'm expecting Bachman to be elevated, or one of those young guys, the shorters of the world, Shedrick Jacksons of the world. They already know the system very well, but I guarantee you here shortly, we're probably going to add another veteran into the mix, whether that's on the practice squad or on the active 53-man roster. So let's get some questions in, you guys, real quick. Salute to everybody here in the building. Catch up on these supers as well. We got 1,100 people here in the building between Twitter and YouTube. Thank you guys so much for rocking with me. Coop's the type to say he has unfinished business, then retire. Laugh out loud. Carr should retire Raider too. Laugh out loud. You know what's funny, man, though? I kind of felt something. I don't know what it was, but the other day, me and Jalen, we're doing this rollout, right, with our podcast. Let me take this off screen real quick. This rollout for our new show, right, the running back report. And look who comments on it with fire emojis, right? It's Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper comments on my photo, fire emojis. And, this is kind of, Jalen kind of celebrating his retirement, so to speak, right? Jalen's not too far removed from the game, but he's entering this podcast space like a ton of former athletes that are doing so. And I love it. I love it. But I felt kind of like, I know Amari and Jalen are former teammates and, they're probably close. That 2016 year was big for both of them. But there was something weird. Like I had this nagging suspicion when he commented those fire emojis on the picture. I said, I wonder, and I even looked at my wife and said this, I'm like, I wonder if he's going to plan on potentially I don't know if he has the personality for it, but potentially look at, podcasting or something in this space once he gives up the game. And boom, 2 days later, Amari Cooper's retired. So it's kind of crazy, man. Salute to Mando. Appreciate you on the $5 special. Salute to my guy Q. Not even surprised for real how long it took him to sign. I figured he was done. Yeah, man. Once again, Ben kind of put me on notice yesterday on the AFC West show. He definitely looked like he was not in shape and ready to go come Sunday. So I don't know if this was a situation where the Raiders sat down with Amari and said, hey, maybe this could have been a thing where they both came together like, hey, this may not work out. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of this situation. I haven't made any calls. I have not gotten any intel on this situation at this point, but maybe the Raiders did sit down with Amari and say, hey, we invested, a few $1 million into this situation. Maybe they're saying, hey, I don't know if you're ready and prepared for this season. Maybe Amari just said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and sit this one out. So I think some more information will come out here soon and we'll get a better idea of why Amari, actually hung him up. So stay tuned. Salute to Q. Salute to the Mokes as well, man. Amari quits on us for the second time. I don't agree with that. Boy hasn't been right since he's got his Sonics rings knocked out of him against Baltimore. Salute to my guy, the Mokes. I'm not one of them people that thinks that Amari gave up on us. I think that he's seen the writing was on the wall with Gruden coming in, and I think that he knew his time he was on borrowed time in Oakland at that point. So, but once again, man, I'm not here to kill Amari Cooper. Once again, man, salute to him and enjoy retirement. Two stop, you were right, Graphk should have signed Allen. Well, you know what? And look, Keenan's going to play a ton out there for those Chargers, his former team this year, man. So it would have been really cool to have Keenan Allen in the building. I think last year what did he have, you guys? About 700 yards receiving. I think he had like 5 touchdowns, something like that. Don't quote me on that, in Chicago. So he's still really productive. And it looks as though he's going to start in LA with Jim Harbaugh and company. So that would have been a great move to bring him in. But hey, we're here stuck with the Amari Cooper retirement right now. So salute to Two Stock. Gio's in the building as well. Couldn't handle the Max Crosby intensity. To be honest, if he couldn't stick in Buffalo, it wasn't going to happen here. On to New England, extend Kobe, just win. Well, this is the thing. Amari was a free agent, Gio. There's no sticking on with Buffalo. He was, I believe, on the last year of his deal, right? So I think he went out there to, potentially try and win a Super Bowl with Buffalo, and they were really close. You know what I mean? But it's just nasty work, man. This is just crazy work 4 days before we're all prepared to face New England. It's just kind of crazy, man. He says, extend Kobe, just win. Salute to my guy, man. At this point, I'm definitely at least looking at Kobe, as Wasted calls me. I'm live right now, brother. I'm going to call you right back. I'm at least, sitting down at the table with them and saying, hey, take at least a 4 or 5 extra. At this point, you guys, can we agree here? Just take the money that you were going to pay Cooper and just throw it at Jacoby. I think that makes sense right here. It makes a ton of sense. All aboard, he says, Kendrick Bourne. I think that he's going to sign with the Niners. Maybe he could potentially sign with the Commanders as well, but he already knows that system with Shanahan out there in Santa Clara. I know he had a visit with them, I believe, recently. I'm expecting them to potentially re-sign him. It just makes sense. It makes sense. Nelson Aguilar is definitely an intriguing name as well, former Raider also. So something to keep an eye on for sure. Mateo says, I've yet to see a softer player. Hey, man, look, If you don't have it, if your body's telling you it's time to go, it's time to go. You know what I mean, Mateo? So I'm not here to call Amari soft. He's had a long career, over 7 seasons of 1,000 yards receiving, 5-time Pro Bowler. You can't call a guy that has had that kind of success and played this long up to this point soft. You know what I mean? I think, once again, his body told him otherwise. His mind said, "You're ready. Go sign with the Raiders and finish what you started." His body told him otherwise. That's just honestly how I'm looking at this situation. And I'm not going to kill Amari Cooper for this. It just sucks with the timing of the situation. It's kind of nasty. It's kind of nasty. Larry says, Amari probably realized he's the 4th or 5th option on the depth chart and said, nah, it's time to retire. I think, Larry, that could have played a role into it, but also I do believe it's his body saying, you have nothing left to give this game. Salute to my guy Larry on the $5 special. Yo. Well, I guess it's time to start drinking. This team's going to destroy my liver. Raider Nation for life. Salute to my guy, man. Appreciate you, brother. I'm on the $5 special, man. And don't get to drinking too early, man. Do not do that. Wipe them feet, y'all. Hit them thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed yet, what are y'all waiting on? Hit that subscribe button. Once again, breaking news, you guys. Amari Cooper has decided to hang him up. He is retiring from the game of football. Ian Rappaport and those guys were first on the case. Come back no more. Amari has informed the team he has no longer have the desire to play and intends to retire per the insiders. Cooper had signed at the end of camp in a hopeful reunion with the team that drafted him. Now he's headed home from Las Vegas. So once again, salute to Ian Rappaport on that. And Yo, take care of your liver, brother. Jersey, Renfro was re-signed in Carolina. So I believe Coker was placed on the IR. I think he's going to miss the first 4 weeks of the season with an injury. So Hunter was re-signed out there in Carolina. So there's not going to be a reunion here with Hunter Renfro either. So salute to you, though, brother. Hug says, I knew there was a reason Coop wasn't in Madden 26. He is in Madden 26. I actually have him on my roster right now. I am 3-0 right now in my whatever it's called, career, on Madden. And I got Coop. I picked him up off the free agency, off the streets. You know what I mean? I have him as the 4th wide receiver on the depth chart. So he is on Madden. He's definitely on Madden. You just got to go to free agency and he'll be available. Let me see. Real quick. Yes, Spoon, I agree. Thornton season, baby. I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. Salute to Jersey again. Maybe we can fleece Jerry for CD Lamb. Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I would love it. CD should have been here in the first place. We should have drafted him over Henry Ruggs. I mean, that was a clear cut, that was the way to go. And we chose to go get the speedster at Alabama, and we see how that worked out. Salute to my guy, Holy Moly Donut Shots. Hey, man, off topic, but thanks for the content. All off season long, filling the football void. Much appreciated. Go. Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Appreciate you on the kind words, and thank you also on a $10 special. Foxdale says Shedrick and Bachman next up. Yep, I do believe that Bachman will be called up off the practice squad probably today. So stay tuned for that. Tokyo says, this is all Ben's fault for calling him fat last night. Facts. Ben definitely called it. Nasty, disgusting work. 10 Commandments. We could have kept Sincere, who signed with the Fort. What is that? I mean, 10 Commandments, salute to you, but what does that have to do with anything? We have a deep running back group. Sincere lost out. They picked Zeus, they picked Dylan, and Raheem Mostert over him. So why would we need another wide receiver? If anything, we're thin at the wide receiver position now. I don't think that Sincere makes any sense to keep on this roster. He was never going to get any PT over here, with this deep positional group at the running back position. So I hear you, brother, but I don't. So salute to Chuck, my guy, man, the OLV effect. My dog in the building, man. Salute to him. Salute to X as well. FAC, and bring in Shedrick Jackson. We shall see. I do believe, if I'm a betting man, it's going to be Alex Bachman who will be called up. He's a veteran. You know what I mean? Once again, he's been here for a few seasons now. I think they're going to bring him up. A guy that really, really looked good this offseason as well. Salute to Faith. Yes, DJ Turner. I was upset that he was cut. I would not be shocked. He's only 28 years old, I believe, Faith. I have no issue with bringing him back. A guy that can play special teams for you, you know what I mean, and also provide you some depth there at the wide receiver position. And the guy that we brought in, I believe as a UDFA out of Pittsburgh, when he first came into the league. So I would not have an issue with adding at least DJ Turner to the practice squad and trying to get him up to speed with this new system and scheme that Chip Kelly's running offensively. Wouldn't be against it at all. DeMarcus is stupid, bro. He says, putting it out there. Graphk and Coop, the wide receiver report. That's hilarious. That is hilarious, man. Salute to my guy, DeMarcus. I'm telling you, when I seen him comment on my picture on Instagram, I had this weird, nagging suspicion that something was off. Something was off. I just called Jalen today right before this news broke, too. I'm waiting to hear back from him, but kind of crazy. This is the most Raider thing ever. Salute to my guy, Accelerator, on the $2 special. This is definitely facts. There's always something going on in Raiderdom. So I appreciate you, brother, on the $2 special. Raider Pace. So what veteran wide receivers are out there that can elevate our wide receiver room? Honestly, I really don't know, Pace. At this point, we went over a few names, Allen Robinson, DJ Turner, former Raider, Jordan Humphrey is available out there. Jamison Crowder, who's 32 years old, been in the league 10 years. He's available. Nelson Aguilar, who's also 32 years old, also has been in the league for 10 years. He'll be an inexpensive option right now. They got Brandon Powell out there, Deontay Hardy, not a ton of names. Odell Beckham Jr., who's still looking to stick around in the NFL for at least another season. So, but, I think right now they're going to elevate one of our guys off the practice squad. And if I'm the Raiders, I'd probably add, DJ Turner or one of those guys to the practice squad and just kind of see if there's anything left in the tank there. But Odell is available. A lot of people thought that Vegas would be a great situation for him. He's also, I believe, 32 years old, and I don't know if there's really anything left in the tank. Miami couldn't get anything out of him last year. So, but definitely a name to monitor, as we probably look out there for a veteran to add that wide receiver group here soon. Salute the Pace. Mando says, would you trade a late pick for Tyler Lockett? Man, he's already starting for them out there in Tennessee. He's already their starting slot receiver. Mando, they're not going to move off of him. And we had every chance under the sun to bring in Tyler Lockett in free agency, and Carroll chose not to pull the trigger. So I don't think that we'd make a move for a Tyler Lockett who already has a starting spot on that Tennessee offense. And, they have a young team out there, Mando. So I think with Tyler Lockett, they're looking at him as a veteran presence that can help Cam Ward in year one. I don't think they're going to move off of Tyler Lockett by any means, especially 4 days away from them facing Denver in Denver week one. So, yes, Malott signed with the Saints. He did. But I believe he is on their practice squad, right? I do believe he's on the practice squad. So, but we moved off from him. I don't see Tommy Malott being a Raider at all. I think Spy Tech kind of said the writing was on the wall, like, hey, man, it just didn't work out. The experiment with us trying to convert him from quarterback to wide receiver just did not work for us. And, it's going to be interesting to see if him and Taysom Hill can kind of form like that, like a wildcat duo out there in New Orleans at the quarterback position. But from what I was hearing also, he was looking to return to the quarterback position. I don't think that he wants to be a wide receiver at the next level. So Spy Tech's experiment definitely failed, and he's moved on to New Orleans, where maybe he'll get some burn this year, because I'm expecting them to be one of the worst teams in football. DJ Chark. Okay. He's had durability issues up to this point as well. He's bounced around the league. I don't like the way he did my brother Paul, so I kind of have a personal vendetta, with DJ Chark. Stay away from the Raiders, Chark. I don't want to see it. I'm cool. Ain't no way. Let me see. Salute to my brother, Hammer in the building as well. 14 Minutes Nation, wild ass ish. Next thing you know, Graphk and Coop show is coming. Salute the Mutation on the $20 special. I believe I'm almost caught up here, you guys, on the chat. My apologies once again. I'm trying to – the chat is flying right now, you guys. Once again, breaking news today. Amari Cooper has officially retired from the game of football. Ben Darcy, remind me a lot of my best friends who are also Chiefs Broncos fans. For my entire Raiders fandom, they've always been right about my team. They said Amari is not going to play it down for us, and they were right again. Nasty. Salute the Mutation on a $20 special. Appreciate you, my brother. It's always something. Checkmate says trade for Tesla. I don't think that Detroit is going to move off of him. They like him a lot. He's going to be that presence there in a slot for them a ton this year. He had a great preseason out there in Detroit. Former Arkansas product. I believe, what would they take him in the 3rd or 4th round? I believe, Checkmate. I could be wrong there. They're not going to move off of Tesla, but that would be a great pickup for the Raiders. But I don't see that happening at all. Tesla's going to be a Detroit line. Let me see. I think I'm almost caught up. All right, there we go. AFC West Roundtable inspired me to create this. Love it. Love it. Salute to my guy, Silver and Facts, on a $2 special. And I don't know if you guys got a chance to check the live out last night, but we actually put something out there as well. Salute to my guy. I'm not going to put too much information out there, but we definitely called the whole Nick Bonito situation. He signed today, you guys, $106 million, 4 years. That can be up to 120 with incentives. I don't know if you guys got an opportunity to see that, but once again, man, salute to my dog for shooting me some intel. He's probably watching the show right now. I don't want to put the name out there, but salute to my guy. Salute to my guy. But today that news broke that Nick Bonito signed a 4-year deal with Denver. So salute. We definitely had that early because of somebody very close to the situation that informed me about it. Let me see. Get a few more questions in, you guys. Once again, today is my day off, man. I'm not going to be live for too much longer. I just wanted to talk about this for a brief moment. Once again, for those who are just joining the show, Amari Cooper has retired officially at 31 years old. He informed the Raiders organization that he's going to move on into retirement, giving us 4 days to potentially elevate one of our guys off the practice squad or go out and look for potentially a veteran presence on the streets. So I did not see Mo's tweet at all. What did it say? Omega, let me know. Tyreek McAllister. Where's he right now? Is he on a roster? Let me look this up. Is he a free agent still? Let me see. Yeah, he's a free agent. He's a free agent. I just remember him getting blasted and then just never seeing him again. I don't know if you guys remember that. He got blasted last year, and then the whole Tyreek McAllister energy that we had where we were excited just kind of just fizzled out. Retired a Raider. By the way, we need an O-lineman, not a wide receiver. We definitely need a wide receiver. I think we're pretty much good to go here on the offensive line, JT. Definitely. I think we're going to be okay on the O-line. And we have some interesting guys still on the practice squad as well that can add some depth to that O-line, the Dalton Wagners of the world. You know what I mean? We do not need an offensive lineman right now. We definitely need to add another wide receiver here. Yeah, me too. If I'm a betting man, Silver and Facts, it's definitely going to be Alex Bachman, who they like a lot. Somebody said, what happens to his contract? I'm assuming that it's null and void at this point, that we get our money back. And, retirement, I mean, look, that's him saying, go ahead and I'll fork over this money again. I don't think it costs a dime for us at this point with Cooper deciding to retire at all. So that money will go right back into the pot, and we'll have a little bit more salary cap to work with this year and moving forward. So he said, call Andre Holmes. Holy shit. We should sign Robbie Anderson, chosen off the 49ers practice squad. Okay. Another guy that's kind of bounced around the league here and there. But, JT, I'm waiting for some more information. I don't know if he is officially retired. I don't know how this is going to play out. But if he did retire here, he retired a Raider. Most definitely. Most definitely. So, Beto, still waiting to see. But once again, he did not look like he was in football shape, and rightfully so. He missed the entire training camp, the full off-season activities. And once again, Ben put me on notice yesterday that he sent me a video on Instagram, and he definitely looked like he was out of shape. So, something to keep an eye on. Cash Lord, I put this out there, and someone hit me up behind the scenes that we were interested in bringing in Gabe Davis. So I wouldn't be shocked if we potentially reached out to him. He's on the practice squad, so maybe we can go pick him off the Buffalo practice squad. I'll be okay with that. Hussein says, go get Mac Hollins. He is on the active roster with the New England Patriots. So there's no way to go get Mac Hollins. We will be facing him this Sunday in New England. So it's not going to happen. Third, Renfro, Daniel, he is out there with Carolina. Re-signed with Carolina. Once Jalen Coker went out with an injury, I believe he's going to miss the first 4 weeks. He's on the IR. They re-signed Hunter Renfro. So he is not going anywhere. He will be a Carolina Panther. Let me see. Cashler says Bo Jackson's nephew. We can definitely elevate him off the practice squad for sure. Let me see. Papa says all reports was that he was struggling. I mean, look, when you're not in football shape, what do you expect? You know, I mean, that takes time. You know, like people don't realize that you can be in the greatest shape of your life, but that doesn't mean you're in football shape. Like at all. Those are two different things. Football shape, in shape are two different things. Entirely. You know, this comes off of the day yesterday where, you know, Baron Davis was speaking to Mark Davis about, you know, the whole rumor that has been out there for many moons now that we were going to sign Tom Brady in 2020. It's like, man, just back-to-back spits in the face, bro. That news breaks. Mark Davis lets it be known that it was actually going to happen, but Gruden chose not to. He said him and the GM, Mayock, if he would have had his decision, he probably would have signed Tom Brady, but that was all Gruden choosing DC over Tom Brady. So for those who are wondering if you chose that fucking guy over me, it was Derek Carr. Simple and plain. Mark Davis put it out there. That was it, because we were this close to signing Tom Brady before John Gruden decided to not sign off on it. So this is coming off of not only 24 hours after that situation, you know, comes out with Baron Davis and Mark Davis, and now Amari Cooper officially retires. It's just, once again, never a dull day in Raider Nation, which is actually kind of crazy. Adam says MD has the final say. I mean, come on, man. He's the owner, though. You know what I mean? Like, you have to allow your GM and your head coach to run shop. Everybody's not going to be Jerry Jones where, you know, they have to make every single decision in football. And Mark is not his dad, Al Davis, at all. He's not that football mind. He allows, you know, the football guys to make the football decisions. So I'm not shocked that he didn't trump that decision. You know, for you to give Gruden a 10-year fully guaranteed deal, 10 years, $10 million per, you know, hey man, you got to allow him to do what he do. But once again, Gruden's ego and pride killed that situation. And then Brady goes out to Tampa wins a championship, which is actually disgusting. But I think it was the best bet for Tom Brady as well, because every situation he's been, he's actually had a really good defense. Tampa Bay had a really good defense out there with Bruce Arians. I don't know if him and Gronk would have changed anything in Las Vegas if they were added, you know, onto that roster. Honestly, we didn't have the defense that Tampa Bay had, you know, and it is what it is. 510 says, Amari Cooper retires. They say all men are created equal. I'm here to tell you that just ain't true. Give me Thomas Booker, pick 6 off an Adam Butler tipped pass. Talk that talk, 510. Salute to my guy, man. Appreciate you on a $10 special. AJ, there is no way. This guy has been on 19 teams in the past 19 days. He was just cut from the Cleveland Browns, a team that need receivers. There's a reason why he just keeps bouncing around the league, why he hasn't been anything since leaving Pittsburgh. You know, where did he go after that? He went to Baltimore. Did he go to Carolina? Cleveland? Where else did he go? Somewhere else. Was it Houston? I forgot where the hell, but he has been everywhere. I don't see the Raiders pulling the trigger on that move at all. I don't see that happening, regardless of how much potential he may have. It sounds like there's a lot of diva tendencies with him, and that it's definitely more off-field shit than on-field shit you're going to get with Deontay Johnson. So nasty work. Yes, it was with the Texans, I believe. I do believe that he was there. Yeah, man, crazy work, you guys. Cooper heard the fat run. Do you think he heard us last night, Dan, talking about him being out of shape? Maybe that did it, right? Maybe that did it. Adam, yes, Nelson is still available out there. At 32 years old, he is still available in free agency right now. So, and Desert, I agree. Deontay, it sounds like he's a head case. And that and I don't think this coaching staff would deal with that, especially if the production isn't coming with the attitude. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Robert Woods, Faster Than You, is available. I believe Pittsburgh just moved off of him, right? Let me see. I'm going to look this up real quick, but I do believe he was just cut not too long ago by Pittsburgh. And once again, he is 33 years old, so he's up there in age, a little longer than two. Robert, is he with Houston? Did he go back to Houston? Okay, Steelers cut ties with veteran wide receiver, Super Bowl champ. Steelers may have already. Okay, no. So he's out there. He's out there. He's available. He's available. I don't know why one of these sites. Oh shit! Actually, it's Wikipedia that has him actively on the Houston Texans roster right now, but he is available. He is available. Let me see. Salute to Rick Glenn, my guy. Hey, Raider Nation, it's been a while. Hope everyone is doing well, and I am ready for this season. Raiders! Salute to my guy, Rick Glenn, on a $5 smackaroonie. It's always good to see my guy, Rick, one of the day ones over here at OLV Raiders Network. When it was Doxy and T, Rick has been around for many moons. Salute to you, brother. Q says, I doubt we do it, but I would call and check to see if Elijah Moore or Wan'Dale Robinson would be available. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really hearing too many good things about Elijah Moore out there in Buffalo. And then Wan'Dale Robinson is still on the Giants roster right now as well. So two interesting players. But this late in the game, I just think that they're going to go with someone on the practice squad. You know, they're going to go with someone that already knows, with Chip Kelly, you know, once out of their receivers. And I think it's going to be Bachman, you guys. Honestly, I do believe that it's going to be Bachman. If it's not Shedrick, it'll be Alex Bachman. Real talk. I'll give it an 80% chance it's Bachman, a 20% chance it's Shedrick Jackson coming off the practice squad to the active roster. And we'll see here very soon, because we're definitely not going into New England with only, 4 wide receivers on the active roster. It's not going to happen. They're going to have to do some shuffling here on the active roster to make this thing work out. Salute to JT. Any truth to the rumor of turning Fotu into stupid JT? Salute to you, the resident comedian over here at Shieldmore, my dog. Good to see my brother Wasted here in the building as well. Yeah, man, I see somebody mention Isaiah Bond. That would have been great if he didn't sign with the Cleveland Browns. I think they got a steal with him. I know that case is no longer pending. It's over with. They got a guy that was potentially a first-round pick out of Texas. Could have been no later than a second-round guy. He fell out of the draft completely. Went, undrafted because of some legal situations, and now he's out there with Cleveland, and he'll probably end up balling out, which sucks. How's Junkies? Good to see you in the building, my brother. Soul Chef says maybe he thought that he was going to have a starting role. Saw the depth chart basically as the 4th receiver on the team and decided, nope, I'm gone. No, I got to disagree with you, Chef. Look, man, at this point, at 32 years old, I think that or 31 years old, I think that he knew, especially coming in this late, you were not going to have a starting spot on this team. You're going to get a ton of reps, but once again, honestly, Chef, and once again, this is just me speculating here. I think that his body told him you have nothing else left to give. Honestly, I don't think that Amari Cooper wants to play football anymore. I think that his body said, oh, no, you're not ready for this anymore. You got to realize, so when you go out there and you're playing on a team with Dante Thornton, 4.3 40, and Trey Tucker, that 40 is insane. You got all this speed around you. You got all these, the Ashton Genties, all this young talent. Sometimes as you get older, you just realize, man, dude, this is a young man's game. It's a young man's game, and I just don't have anything left to give. How can I compete with these guys? Honestly, I think that's probably what Coop said. Had a down season last year and probably seen all those guys out there and was thinking, oh, no. I'm too old for this shit. And once again, when you see the videos, you're thinking, damn, he does look like he's out of shape. And once again, he should be. He didn't have an off season. It's going to take some time to get him up to speed and get his body right and get him in football shape. And it's clear cut. He just wasn't ready to do it. So, Perk, nothing on Jacoby. The last thing that we got was yesterday in his presser speaking about him saying he requested a trade. The Raiders said no, and he said, okay, and still showing up to work. So it looks like he'll be out there, playing on Sunday, with his teammates against his former team, the New England Patriots. And hey, man, it looks like he'll play this season out. I'm hoping the Raiders give him a pay raise, just throw him another $3 or $4 million on top of what he's making this year. I believe is 10.5 on the books. Just give him a pay raise and let him get through this year, and then you move off from him. They want Jack Best to play that role, you guys, moving forward. They want Best to be that Jacoby-esque player for them, that great route runner, that blocking, that the guy that does all the dirty work, has no problems catching the football in traffic. They chose Jack Best in round 2 because they looked at him as the replacement for Jacoby later on down the line. We don't know the ins and outs of what the extension was going to look like. Maybe the Raiders were just trying to give him an extra year, or I don't know. Maybe there was some type of holdup, some type of stall. I don't know if it was money-wise or the years, but it's clear cut that they have Jack Best. They're holding him at very high, and they're expecting him to be that guy that can come in and play that role for this team. So, I think Jacoby plays out this year and they move on. And, we both move on, and, he goes wherever he goes, and we move on with Jack Best and Thornton and Tucker and those guys. Is what it is. I mean, Omega, you don't have to pay him. That's the thing. He's still under contract. He still has one more year left on his deal. And it's not like Jacoby is in high demand around the league, you guys. This is not like the regular wide receiver 1 type situation. I understand what him and his representation are doing. They have to capitalize on the best year that he's had in his career, which was last year, his first year with over 1,000 yards receiving. I get it. 28 years old. He wants to get one big deal before he ends up, leaving the game of football later on down the line. I understand it, but you can't overpay just because he's your wide receiver 1. If the market says wide receiver 1s are getting paid $30+ million, you can't just pay him wide receiver 1 money because he's your wide receiver 1. It's just not going to happen. It's not. You're not paying him like those other wide receiver 1s. It's just not happening. So I don't know if that's their sticking point on Jacoby's side of things. I don't know what the holdup is, but once again, he's under contract. It looks as though he's going to go out there and play, the season out, and he'll look to get another deal once the season is up. If we can't find, some common ground in terms of giving him a new deal, is what it is. But I'm not paying Jacoby wide receiver 1 money personally. It's not my money, and I'm not the general manager. I'm not paying Jacoby wide receiver 1 money. Wide receiver 1 money, you guys, is different than what Jacoby brings to the table. If you're paying wide receiver money, you're paying the Chases of the world, the Justin Jeffersons of the world, the Nico Collins of the world, the guys that are actually wide receiver 1s. Just because you were a wide receiver 1 on a fucking terrible football team last year does not mean that you deserve that kind of money. And I'm not saying that he's asking for that. I'm only here speculating about what potentially could be going on, at the bargaining table. So just once again, if you're going to pay a wide receiver 1, you better have a clear-cut wide receiver 1. Is what it is. Salute to the 1,700 people here in the building. As always, appreciate you guys for rocking with me as always. Jay, what time does the presser come on? In ITK, yes, Jacoby is under contract. So either you show up or you don't get paid. In which this is a great problem to have for the Raiders. You need the money. This isn't a big year where you need the money. You better go out there and show up. All right, let me see if we can watch this real quick. Once again, man, salute to everybody here in the building. Is the shield still turning? I see JT the Bricks live. I see my brother Hammers live. Let me see. Once again, okay, boom. So Chip Kelly and Patrick Graham as the shield turns right here. I'm going to share this real quick, you guys, and we're definitely going to watch this presser. I wonder if they're probably going to ask Chip Kelly about the whole situation with Amari Cooper, and I'm definitely intrigued to hear what he has to say. So there we go. As the shield turns, you guys. While we're waiting for this, you guys, once again, wipe them feet, hit them thumbs up. If you guys are not subscribed yet, what are y'all waiting on? Hit that subscribe button. Patrick Graham and Chip Kelly are going to be speaking today at our presser. So once again, this is probably going to be a quick presser. 2 guys, unless they add somebody into the mix. Maybe they do add our head coach because of the Cooper abrupt retirement. We shall see. But we're going to stick around and watch this together. Bleacher Report. Amari didn't appear to have the look of a difference maker at practice, according to The Athletic. So there you go. There you guys go. Something to keep an eye on here. This just hit my phone. according to The Athletic, Amari didn't appear to have the look of a difference maker. So maybe once again, Amari realized it's just I can't keep up with these young pups anymore. So stay tuned, you guys. Once again, Patrick Graham and our offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly, will be holding a media scrum right here in the next few seconds as we get ready to head out to New England for week 1 on the road against the Patriots. So salute, man. He said that boy was a part of Thick Frame Nation. Raiders said, the hell with you. Jump off Graphk and threw down a presser. Well, guess what? We're going to be here regardless, covering this shit every single step of the way. So once again, for those who are just joining, Amari Cooper has officially retired from football. So there you have it. You guys hit that subscribe button, man. We're about 10 subscribers away from 28,500. So if we can get 10 subscribers, man, I would definitely appreciate it. It's getting us closer to our goal of 30,000 subscribers. So 10 more will get us to 28.5 and gets us a little bit closer to our goal. So hit that subscribe button, you guys. If you're not subscribed yet, it definitely helps with us in the algorithm. So some interesting names, you guys. Once again, somebody mentioned DJ Chark. Tyler Boyd is available. Nelson Aguilar, Odell Beckham Jr. Another guy that I mentioned, DJ Turner, former Raider. I would definitely want to add him to the practice squad if we could and just elevate Alex Bachman. We already kind of have the guys that are going to get the grunt of, the passing game, those reps. It's going to be Dante Thornton, who's going to be very active in this offense, you guys. It's going to be Trey Tucker. It's going to be Jack Besh. Also, Jacoby is still on this roster. Let's not forget that. He is going to catch the football a ton for us this year. And then also, remember, Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers. They've had a lot to say about those two guys and that 12 personnel this offseason. Expect those guys to be on the football field a ton. And then they want to get Ian Thomas, the veteran tight end 3 for us, involved in the passing game as well. So, there's only enough footballs to go around. I said this when we brought in Amari Cooper, that I wasn't expecting him to be this guy that was going to move the needle offensively. I said at the height, you can get 600, 700 yards, which would have been great, right? But that was if he was really in his bag. I was still expecting him to potentially be that 3rd, 4th option in this offense. So honestly, we don't lose a lot, and Coop is the one that kind of loses out here with that money, So honestly, do you guys think we lost out in this situation? If Coop didn't have it and he didn't have anything left in the tank, isn't it a good problem to have that Coop leaves regardless of his 4 days before game 1? I mean, honestly, like he walked right in time, gives us a few more days to get that wide receiver group together so we're ready to go to face New England. And it looks like they're going to be thin at the cornerback position with Gonzo potentially not starting. He hasn't practiced, I believe, all week. So this is honestly, you guys, I think we're facing 2 teams back-to-back weeks where the cornerback group is not good at all. Really, like New England without Gonzo, that cornerback group is not great. And then you're going to face the Chargers, who don't have a great cornerback group also. So this gives us a few weeks to stabilize that wide receiver group, so to speak. I'm not too much worried about it. I'm not. Sucks because once again, Coop came home and it sounded like everything was ready to go, and it is what it is. So I wanted to share this with you guys as well. I don't know if Max wanted to do it, but I shared a video yesterday on Madden. I had two picks from Max Crosby. One was a pick 6 on Madden. I don't know what the hell happened yesterday on Madden, but let me show you this real quick, you guys.
Bruh. Let's go, Max.
Look at it.
My dog pick 6 on James Daniel.
So give me that.
Max said, give me that, man. I'm out of here.
And right after that, there was another one. Okay.
Let's go.
Max hit me and said, on week Foreshadowing. So, man, hey, Max is ready to go get some picks, man. He's ready to go get some picks, man. Who needs another corner when you got Max, high stakes Crosby out there getting picks, man? Leon, why you say rookie mode, man? Come on, man. You act like you know me like that. You know me like that. Look, man, PlayStation's a little different, okay? Like I'm used to playing Xbox. So, you know, I'm getting adjusted, you know, to the way this game, you know, works. So get out of here, Leon. So the S-Dot, you know, it bothers me to have multiple receivers that have the same type of zigzag in the middle of the field receiver trait. Then my dog goes on to say, when Thornton gets bracketed, we need Jackson's faster speed for separation bombs. Tucker barely gets it done. We need faster than 440 speed Tucker. Come on, S-Dot. Don't downplay Tucker's speed, man. He's fast. He's going to be returning kicks for us this year and all that good stuff. So come on. Come on, man. S-Dot, stick to the O-line, man. Talk about the O-line, man. Yeah, Oak, you see the way my game system is set up. You know what I mean? Like, you know. Hey, man, I've just done this, coach, forever. Yeah, Mr. Perfect. Let me spit my gum out. You know what I mean? But I've always done this, man. I make it a tradition, you guys. Every hotel that I go to in every city or every state, I still towels, man. I still towels, man. Let me tell y'all something. If you guys fly me out to do a live somewhere or whatever, make sure whatever hotel you put me up in, just know I'm stealing some towels, bro. I'm stealing these shits. Just is what it is. It's just, I've been doing this since Stockton Boulevard and Mac Road at the Motel 6 behind Jack in the Box. It just is what it is. You know, I'm a towel stealer. I'm a habitual towel stealer, bro. If you got the small towels like this, I'm taking them. If it wasn't so hot in Vegas and I had to walk up and down that strip doing this shit, I wouldn't be taking them. But it all started in a little motel called the Motel 6 on Stockton Boulevard and Mac Road in South Sacramento behind the Jack in the Box. You know, it is what it is, you know. Or Riverside Hotel on Stockton Boulevard over in Oak Park, you know. I wouldn't steal those towels. That was a dirty, just disgusted, nasty hotel. I wouldn't even take a shower in them shits. But, you know, we trap out there a little bit. Rest in paradise, my brother Tone. Salute to two stacked. We're going to be fine. Two great tight ends, great running back, and wide receivers that can beat their matchups with speed on the outside and routes underneath. Talk that talk, my brother. Salute to two stacked on the $5 smackaroonie, my guy, man. This is nothing but facts, my brother. Salute to two stock, man. Let me see. Laugh out loud. That used to be the hey, man. Hey, Chuck. They don't know nothing about that, man. They don't know nothing about that, man. The rats in that Jack in the Box parking lot were disgusting. All those rabbits, nasty work, man. Nasty work. Mac Road Legends, baby. Let me see. Coach, you're disgusting. Somebody block Coach. Get him out of here. Get him out of here, Coach Adrian. That's out my jurisdiction, Coach. You know what I mean? But I definitely love, the North Side. Definitely love the Heights. Definitely love Highlands. But I know. Oh, actually, I think I know what Red Roof. Is that the one right off the highway? That's the one right off the highway, right? I believe right off the highway. Over there by the Shell gas station. I believe that's where they put all the guys that were going off to the military. They would put them in the Red Roof Inn for the night. I think that's the one you're talking about. Salute to my guy, Cole. Actually, I have spent many moons there as well. So, yeah. True Raider. Once again, you guys, we're just off the script talking some shit right now. We're waiting for this presser. Patrick Graham and Chip Kelly will be addressing the media here in a second. So stay tuned. Graphk towel snatching Raider, baby. Talk that talk, my brother. Talk. The autumn wind is a towel bandit, ITK. Facts, man. Facts. No, Mondo. I just took this one from Vegas. I took this from the M. I think that's what it is. Or what's the old Delano? Is it the W? One of them shits. Let me see. Oh, Michael. If you can't start at corner, man, just put him in at wide receiver, huh? Foster with a with a hot take here. They're not going to do it. They've already been, positioning him to move to the cornerback position. He's already played there, I believe, the last few seasons in college. They're not going to move him back to wide receiver, but that's an interesting take right there. Yeah, Primos, it's the W. Yeah, that's the one the Raiders put us up in for the weekend. The W. Yes, the old Delano. No, there's two of them. I know that one in the parking lot where Arden is. I already know. I spent many moons there as well. Many moons, crashed a lot of parties back in high school and shit like that. I remember the DoubleTree like crazy. But that one, the DoubleTree's across the street though, over by the old pepper mill on that side. The other one across the street by Arden, that's not the DoubleTree, is it? That's something else.
You had a whole summer, everything to install, and now it's on to game planning. I guess how different is this week than what you guys have been doing the last couple months?
Well, it's not much different the way Pete runs this. So, every day we have a situation, whether it be red zone, coming out, third down, something that's central to the theme of that day in training. So, we've been game planning. Obviously, we've been going against our defense in those situations, and now it's an opportunity to go against Braves and what he's going to do. So that part's different. But we've been preparing for scenarios that are going to occur in the game all, since we got here. OTAs were based on the same exact thing. So, but it is a different opponent, and it counts. So that's the biggest thing that we're excited about.
Obviously, you expect the guys to get better and better and more well-versed with your playbook every day. How do you feel they are right now heading into week one?
They're doing great. I think part
cute,
of it,
right?
it leads from Gino, because Gino's been around. He's played for a lot of coaches. He's been in the league for a while. There's been a lot of collaboration with him. He's got a great point of view in terms of the game of football. He's as smart a guy as I've ever been around playing the game. So, really excited about what he feels comfortable in. And that's what this deal is when we're going into these games, is what do our players feel comfortable in? Because it really doesn't matter what we know, because we're not playing the game. It's really how does Gino feel in terms of the game plan, and he has a lot of input on it. And so, we'll kind of roll from there.
For you as a coach, what's the difference feel being coaching on the sideline and coaching in the booth?
Chip Kelly, y'all.
That's a great question. I think you can see the game better from the booth, and I think you can feel the game better from the sideline. So, I think sometimes you can't tell that, hey, that corner looks like there's something wrong with him because he's in front of you and you're watching him. He looks like he's limping a little bit. You may not see it. It's a little bit more sanitized when you're up top. You're just kind of seeing how they're deployed. Is it a 7-man spacing or 8-man spacing with the front? What are they playing coverage wise? Are the corners playing inside leverage, outside leverage? Sometimes when you're on the field, you can't see the leverage of the corner on the other side. He looks like he's 6 or 7 yards off, but is he inside or outside? So I've always felt like that. I think you can see the game better from up top, but I think you can feel the game better from the field.
Dante Thornton, coming strong this whole time since he's been here and carve out a starting role for himself. How much have you seen him grow just from the time that you met him in OTAs to now as you're getting ready for week one?
Yeah, I think he was a good product coming in, and obviously our personnel department, and really Pete was the guy that kind of fell in love with him watching the tape, and felt the same thing. As I said earlier, there aren't many people that tall and long that are that fast, but I've seen him really embrace every day, and just I don't think he was thinking about starting or anything. He was just thinking about coming here every day. He got in the building. Can I be a little bit better today than I was yesterday? And you saw him grow on a daily basis. Now, obviously, the next jump is he's played in 3 preseason games, but the preseason games and the regular season games are different. But I expect, and I think he expects, and I think everybody here expects for him to play really well on Sunday, because we always believe that you're going to play on Sunday the way you trained, and I think he trains at a really high level right now.
Chip, it's been 9 years since you coached on an NFL sideline. How exciting is that for you personally to be back on that? And then how much do you think the game's evolved?
Oh, the game's definitely evolved. I think that's a great question. And the first part, I'm really excited. The one thing about the NFL is it's the best in the world. And to go against a Mike Vrabel coach team. Mike did an unbelievable job when he was at Tennessee. He's a defensive guy. His teams are always going to be really well prepared. And so we got our work cut out for him, and that's the beauty of it. It's competition at the highest in the game I love. So, I'm excited to see how our players go perform.
You guys have brought in Amari Cooper. Looks like that's no longer on the table. Does that change anything, or was he here not long enough?
Well, I feel because he's a talented player now, but he called Pete this morning, had a good conversation with Pete, and I think he's just done playing. But you could still see the talent was there. But we still have today, Thursday, Friday, Saturday's practice session before we have to finalize who was up and who was down, and we hadn't made any final decisions on was he going to play in the first game or not in the first game. You know, he was training with us and got reps and all those other things, but it was a matter of, usually I think for everybody, you're not making your final 46-man roster or 48-man roster until Saturday anyway. So we hadn't had any discussions. We said we were going to go through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then we determined who was up and who was down. So you know, it's unfortunate because I think the world of him. I think he's a heck of a football player. He's had a heck of an NFL career, but he knows in his heart what he wants to do. So I wish him the best. I've always been a big fan of his.
Outside of Jacoby, this is a young wide receiver group.
Yeah.
Bachman's going to get
that's
called.
probably, you know, good and bad, whatever, all those things. But how do you feel about the young wide receiver?
I feel good, you know, and I think part of it for me, my comfort level as a coach is Geno is there. So having a veteran quarterback, you know, I think if you had maybe a bunch of young wideouts and a young guy pulling the trigger, you got a rookie at the running back spot.
Love that from Chip.
You know, that's a little bit different, but I think the fact that Geno's there, you know, that Jacoby's there, Jacoby's, you know, is got a lot of reps, and then there's a lot of experience at the tight end spot. So we feel pretty good about some positions, but the other guys, you know, that's what this league is. You know, there's going to be certain spots where no one's totally set in their depth at every position and got veterans playing everywhere. It just doesn't happen that way. There's you know, some positions you feel really good about. Other ones you feel good, but you're not sure until you get them in a game. And so that's what I'm excited about, those young guys getting a chance to go play in a game.
Talk about the trust that Geno brings. You've been working with him, obviously, this whole offseason. Behind him, these guys that just got here.
Yeah.
Obviously, the plan of Geno just be healthy and play the whole game, but how comfortable are you going into the game knowing that, you know, you haven't had those guys very long behind them?
No, that's just the NFL. You know, that's just the way it works. Obviously, losing Aiden, who had experience in what we were doing because he was here through all of OTAs and everything in the offseason. You know, losing him in that Cardinal game hurt. But Kenny's played in games. That's the one thing you feel comfortable with Kenny is that he's played in games. Now he's still learning the terminology. He's worked extremely hard, but he's got varsity. I mean, he's got NFL reps underneath his belt. So you know, if that has to go, then we have a plan when Kenny goes in the game. What he feels comfortable in and what our offense is going to be. But, you know, if we can keep Geno upright, then that would be a good thing.
Y'all.
Obviously, the Patriots.
So go ahead.
The Patriots have a new staff, but what sticks out to you about the
Five more
seven
subscribers
that they have on defense there?
Yeah, really formal. I think that, you know, there may be 9 new starters on that defense, you know, so a couple of Barmore was there before. Milton Williams is coming off a Super Bowl. Harold Landry is a player that everybody in this league knows about. So I think, you know, the strength of their defense is going to be that front seven. And that's what you got to be prepared for. But the game of football is always one up front. You know, it's a battle of the offensive lines and the defensive lines in this league. And when you're really solid at, you got a shot. So I think that battle between our O-line and that front is going to really tell you what's going to go on in this football game.
You
can let them go.
A little bit light on the number of receivers on the roster right now. Obviously, you have guys on the practice squad, but how beneficial is it to have as deep of a tight end room as you do and be able to, you know, use 12 personnel, 13 personnel?
Well, it's the same. I mean, we'll have 5 or 6 guys active on game day, just like the Patriots will have 5 or 6 guys active. So there's not there's nobody in this league that's going in with 8 or 9 receivers on game day. It's just the way the NFL roster is. So,
yeah, it's facts.
We're gonna have the same amount of receivers as everybody else. It's. I think a couple of our receivers don't have as much experience, but there's other people places like that. I know. You look at the Patriots roster; they've got some young guys that made it at the wide receiver spot. They got some young guys that made it at the running back spot. So, you know, that's this league. There's such a churn on the rosters for everybody in this league, whether you're the Raiders or the Patriots or whomever. Very rarely are you sitting pat on where you are in terms of who you got. You know, you can just look at the game tonight. You know, that team that the Eagles are the defending Super Bowl champs, but that defense is drastically different than the team that won the Super Bowl for them. You know, you talk about the Cowboys and you're talking about Micah. Well, all of a sudden Micah's not there and that picture changed. So that's just the NFL, you know, so it's what teams can groove over the 17 game season that you play and who can stay healthy. You know, that's the other part that's a big thing in this league. The attrition part of this league is a real big deal as you go. So, you know, the one thing I think we feel real confident in our group is that
5'10".
Besides Aiden and Lonnie, you know, we've got everybody that started camp with us that was here for the roster. You know, we had to add Kenny and we had to add a guy on defense, but besides that, the guys that were here through the spring and went through all of the summer with us are the guys we're going to go to battle with, and we're excited about that. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Chip Kelly, man. We still got Patrick Graham coming up to the podium as well, you guys. Let me put y'all on game. This is what Raider D510 says. Salute on the $10 special. Myers has his first 1K season at 29. Well, 28. Oh, here we go. Patrick Graham.
Preparing preparing for this week, anything you know about this McDaniels guy running the offense?
Absolutely. He's one of the best competitors I've ever been around, one of the smartest coaches I've ever been around, understands all three facets of the game. I'm appreciative of him bringing me out here when he brought me out here.
Terrible head
and then
coach.
the things I learned from him. He's a great football coach, better person, has a great family, and just happy to see him coaching again because, I mean, the guy could coach ball. He could coach ball.
How different is week one preparation when you don't have as much game film to go on with the personnel?
Look at RS, my guy.
Later on in the season?
It's different, but like, you know, each week is the biggest thing about our league is you got to know the people. So again, aside from a rookie, but even then you got to look at his college tape and try to have an idea. You know, they have the two guys over there on our defensive right. You know, you just watch some of their college tape and some of the preseason just to get a feel for them. But it's about the people. You know, they have, you know, the backs that probably going to do certain jobs. You understand the quarterback watching tape there. So before we get into the scheme and everything,
remember Ashton's
going to
be heavily involved
and
in the
try
passing
to
game
anticipate how they're going to utilize those guys. So that part's similar. What exactly they're going to do, who knows? But the people are the people.
Speaking of the people, your secondary is a young secondary. How do you use maybe the veterans in the safety room and the linebacker room to kind of help them and bring them along?
Youth experience and all that stuff, it gets overrated to a certain degree. It's about how we perform on Sunday and then how we build to that performance in practice. So whether it's a rookie, a vet, doesn't matter. It's about how we prepare and then how we perform on Sunday. So, but I'm sure the vets, they're able to help some of the young players in terms of stuff they anticipate, but all that stuff gets overrated in my opinion. You know, I've had really good rookies that played really well their first game. I had veterans that played bad in their first game of the season. So it doesn't matter.
You need more of a communication thing?
Everything's communication on defense. I can't harp on that enough. Based on what the Patriots are going to do, that's going to be big. Communicating based on what we're doing defensively, we got to communicate. That's something that's common, no matter what.
There's a curiosity level in season offers for every team across the league. But do you have a feeling of what you think that especially that young secondary is all about and what they're going to do?
I think that a lot of times they take the shape of their coach or the mold, like how the coach is molding them. And then, like for us with the secondary, you have Pete heavily involved. You have Joe and Rob heavily involved. And the thing I'm looking forward to is to see a level of toughness because the men that are leading them, there's a level of toughness. So I'm looking forward to that. And you know, with Josh's offense, they're going to run the ball and we're going to have to tackle. So we'll find out, you know, but again, the feeling, I'm trying not to do this based on feelings. It's based on how they're performing in practice, because practice is everything. But I want to see a level of toughness, get off of blocks, tackle their ball carriers, tackle the receivers. That's what we're looking for. That's a signature of all the defenses coach has had in his career. So that's what I'm looking for.
How happy have you been with the progression of Malcolm Kuntz as he ramps up in the injury from the time he began OTAs to now going into this game?
And Malcolm's been steady, steadily improving, getting more and more comfortable. And the explosion's there, the power's there, the confidence is growing.
Malcolm Kuntz.
I was happy to see that sack in the preseason. That was encouraging there.
Definitely.
So pretty happy with where he's at and really happy about him being able to play on first week of the season.
What has impressed you with Thomas Booker since he's arrived?
T-Book, I mean, he's smart. You know, I always tease the Stanford guys. That would have been a safety school for me back in the day. I just tease them. Now, my position coach from college informed me I would not be able to get into either one of those schools right now based on my grades, but smart player, really strong, plays with good balance, and his hands come straight from the ground up. That's all encouraging right there. But someone I enjoy talking football to because he could, you know, he could digest it.
I could bet my left eye.
And does a good job.
They wouldn't burn the house down and do that.
Does Drake May provide?
I mean, again, he has, let's start with the arm talent. He has access to the whole field. He could throw the ball wherever. And then I would tell you that in terms of what I'm seeing, in terms of getting in and out of checks, he has an understanding of what they're trying to do. Again, that's one of the more dangerous things that a quarterback could have, the ability to get him in the right play. And he can move his feet in the pocket. So, you know, we got to do a good job of keeping him contained, make him play from within the well. But, I mean, he's a solid player overall.
How much of a threat do you think he is as a runner?
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's legitimate. He was second most in terms of yards, 476. Don't quote me on the number, but, you know, I try to keep up to the stats and stuff. But, like, I mean, this guy, He's a dangerous runner, not just as a runner, but also as a when he scrambles to throw the ball, because again, he has the arm talent to get the ball anywhere on the field. So that's a problem.
For you, Coach, what's the difference between being in the booth and being on the field like right now?
For me, I've done both, so and now I'm like in year 6 or 7 of being a coordinator. So it's a lot more comfortable doing it. One is you get the vibe of the game a little bit more, get to talk to the players directly. I'm not having to go through somebody. My eyes are trained to be able to see it, so that's okay, but obviously when you're up top, it's just
I don't think Gonzo's going to play.
Calmer.
Chill.
I have a Coke in my hand, Diet Coke in my hand. Okay, I don't. It's a real Coke. I'm sorry. It's a real Coke in my hand. I could have a Snickers in between. I mean, none of that stuff is happening. And if I do, they'll catch me on camera. And I got to be mindful of my language because my parents are watching and they can lip read. So that's the difference.
Patrick, 2 guys you guys brought in for the defense with Devin White and Jeremy Chin this season. What did you see from them heading into the season? What's your expectations for those 2 guys?
Physicality, speed, intelligence. And I gained the information on the intelligence when I met them. But they're 2 guys I've used as teach tapes over my career in terms of showing like good linebacker play with Devin. In terms of with Chin showing versatility because he's been moved around all over the place and understanding that. So with those guys, everything that I thought about them, they've shown, and I'm looking forward to seeing it come to fruition on Sunday. That's good. Thank you.
There you go. Once again, you guys, I don't think that let me get rid of this real quick. Stop sharing this. Boom. Salute to Patrick Graham and Chip Kelly. It looks as though he's not going to play this weekend. So according to ESPN, he missed practice Tuesday, Wednesday. They're saying that he's going to return for Friday's practice and participate in Saturday's walkthrough. But, they said that it's hard to envision the Patriots thrusting him into a game action after so much time off. So it sounds as though they're not going to have Gonzo out there. It looks like they're going to run with a multitude of different, Carlton Davis III, Alex Austin, Marcus Jones, DJ James, those guys. So it looks like Gonzo's not going to be available week 1 against our Raiders. So I'm expecting Gino to go out there and just take the top off that defense. Like real talk with those names out there at the cornerback position. And I'm not saying that Vrabel's not going to have those guys ready to go, but hey, man, send Dante, send Trey, like take advantage of that speed at the wide receiver position, and that allows Genty to get the run game going, open up the middle of the field for Brock and Jacoby and Mayer. Once again, with Gonzo out of this game, it's going to be a tough assignment for New England to stop this Chip Kelly offense, man, with Gino at the quarterback 1 position. So let me see. But yeah, man, let me see. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Shield, like, Carlton Davis is like the veteran in that group. Have Gino go out there and just completely go ape shit in the passing game. But other than that, you guys, as always, appreciate you. I would hate to leave you with 1,700 people here in the building between Twitter and YouTube. Thank you guys so much for pulling up. Once again, breaking news, Amari Cooper has officially retired. Chip Kelly talked about it during his presser. It sounds like he called Pete this morning and kind of let him know, he's moving on from the game of football. So congratulations on retirement, Amari Cooper. I'm not here to beat him up or bash him. I think, he was out of shape, came in the camp, not ready to go. Chip even said that they didn't even know if he was going to play this Sunday. So it looks as though they'll bring up Bachman or Jackson or Shorter off the practice squad to add a little bit more depth to that wide receiving group going into New England. So other than that, man, as always, salute to Kenny. I'd rather have AC retire than give us a shit performance. I agree, bro. I agree. Why take up a roster spot if he's not going to go out there and perform at a high clip? So I love that it happened, at least now, so we have at least 4 days to shuffle and figure out what our next move is. So my dog, Kenny Raiders, man, appreciate you, brother. Other than that, man, appreciate you guys. I'll be back tomorrow. The Graphk and Wasted show will be on tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. And then Saturday, we'll go over some stuff. And then Sunday, me and Hammer will be calling the game. So other than that, appreciate you guys. I am outro.